Alright, welcome back once again, and welcome to Brannigan. This is an action movie channel, and Brannigan is like a Dirty Harry kind of movie. If you have seen Dirty Harry, I have. I've seen all 6 Dirty Harry movies. Pretty good. Check it out. But John Wayne is like a Western actor, if you've never heard of him. So we are in Chicago this time, Chicago, Illinois. As we see this Captain Moretti wanting to see Lieutenant James Brannigan soon. But he's pretty busy right now with a guy printing fake money.
Knock, knock.
And here's Lieutenant James Brannigan himself, played by the well-known John Wayne. Was bigger than life than any actor of his time, even today. Larger than life, and I guess you could say he is the original King of Cool before all these actors have walked in later on as years went by, like Steve McQueen or Sean Connery or Clint Eastwood. But John Wayne was and still is the original tough guy in movies. You don't even have to watch his movies or even know what he looks like. His name alone is all everyone needs. Everyone knows John Wayne. Literally anyone knows who he is. Even a kid that was born 6 months ago would instantly find out who John Wayne is. And now that he's got the counterfeiter, Brannigan wants to know where Larkin is, who you will meet real soon, the villain of the movie. You can already tell this movie is super goofy, since this movie is like an action comedy, if you've seen it on streaming services. So Brannigan takes out a gun stored in a Ziploc or a plastic bag and points it at this guy, and even counts down with his fingers. How goofy. So the guy tells him that Larkin left town and places this stored gun on the table, and this guy thinks is loaded. Hits him with a piece of wood and now restrains him. And just leaves him there as Brannigan walks away knowing that there's a hit on him. So a cop has now been sent to the warehouse where Brannigan is at right now. And the cop here tells him that Captain Moretti wants to see Lieutenant Brannigan as he walks to his car, but the cop tells him that another cop in the squad car will drive his car back for him to the station. As Brannigan now takes a look back to the station, I don't know how he can sit comfortably back there. John Wayne's pretty huge in real life. Then again, many 6'4" guys are not built like John Wayne. Not even 6'4" guys today on the NFL are nowhere near as large as John Wayne. And now with the continuation of the intro, as Brannigan's being driven to the station on the highway. And finally directed by Douglas Hickox, a not so well-known director. Should be dead by now. So Brannigan is now being taken to the captain's on his car, and we're not at the police station, instead at the Chicago International Airport. And here we see Captain Moretti, played by Ralph Meeker, and tells Brannigan he will be taking a trip with plane tickets and money already there. Moretti tells Brannigan that Larkin has been found in London, England, as Scotland Yard has him restrained. And now he's on the plane onward to London, England, and now at this hotel we see these guys walking out in suits, as well as finally meeting Ben Larkin, played by John Vernon, who surprisingly was also in Dirty Harry from 1971, the Clint Eastwood movie, who played the mayor of San Francisco. And now he's back doing another Dirty Harry kind of police movie, but this time with John Wayne. Funny. And we also see Mel Fields here, played by Mel Ferrer, who is also Larkin's lawyer and the husband of the late Audrey Hepburn, if you ever heard of her. I'm sure everyone knows who that is. So Larkin now walks out, notices that Scotland Yard is after him. No surprise there, as well as Fields has gotten the info that Lieutenant Brannigan from Chicago has been sent to come arrest him. And Larkin calls Brannigan a big Irish and that needs to be killed. So Larkin wants to stay in London since he likes the pleasures here in life, and Fields has advised Larkin to be sent to Ecuador to be safe and away from Brannigan, and tells him that he's got a hitman that will take care of Jim Brannigan, a hitman named Gorman. Now the plane is landed as we see this woman waiting for Flight 570, the flight that Brannigan is probably on. So here we meet Jennifer Thatcher, played by Judy Geeson, who will escort Brannigan to the London police, or Scotland Yard, as we see Brannigan getting his passport checked out wearing the same red v-neck sweater like Harry Callahan with a suit, and behind this guy with the brown suit getting his passport checked out, and that's Gorman, the hitman played by Daniel Pylon. Same BS question they always ask the airlines, business or pleasure, how long you staying, blah blah blah. And as Brannigan is walking around, Sergeant Jennifer Thatcher locates him easily and introduces herself.
Well, headquarters told me to look for someone slightly smaller than the Statue of Liberty.
Now Brannigan is eager to know where his prisoner, Ben Larkin, is at, and she tells him that Commander Swan will be handling that, and that Sir Charles will also handle Brannigan's return. Okay, so two different people's gotta meet. So tickets back to Chicago, and she will be driving Brannigan to the station as Gorman is watching Brannigan from this far up tunnel, and now Larkin gets dropped off at another hotel and says bye to his lawyer, Mel, for now, and now goes to the swimming pool area for a swim, and the inside of that blazer looks pretty nice. And now back to Jennifer driving Brannigan around and tells her the last time he came to London was during the war. I don't know which war, probably the Korean War. I'm guessing World War II. It could be a reference to an older John Wayne movie from the past. Probably one of his war movies. I've seen quite a few. They're okay. He just makes the movie look better. But he doesn't want to look around, since he just wants to sleep and get his hands on Ben Larkin already. And now he has a casual conversation with Jennifer, as well as now him wanting to call her Jenny. And now we see Ben Larkin going for a swim, naked. Luckily not a shared pool. And now more of a sausage fest. He's getting a sponge cleaned up by this naked masseuse, or masseur. And now this guy walks in looking for Ben Larkin and back to cleaning Mr. Larkin. Now the hotel manager tells Larkin that two guys are here to see him to deliver something, and now wants the masseuse or the masseur's help, which is all part of the plan. Which is all part of Larkin's plan, as one of them rips off the towel and the other kills him. And now some chloroform is being put onto his towel, and it looks like these guys aren't working for Larkin since they kidnapped him. And so Larkin inside this portable container and walks past his bodyguard, who doesn't know what's going on since they're posing as delivery guys. So now Brannigan is here at the Garrett Club, a bar, as Jennifer now has to leave. But he's here to meet the police commissioner of London, Commander Swan, as Brannigan asks the front desk for the commander, and first he has to see Sir Charles for that, and now gives him a tie since it's a rule to always wear a tie at the Garrett Club, and just looks around. Walks in here full of Englishmen, and here is Commander Swan, played by Richard Attenborough, pretty famous actor, noticing Brannigan walking in. And just like James Bond, James Brannigan has his own alcoholic beverage maker himself, the Boilermaker. But we know John Wayne came before James Bond, who was born in the early 1900s. And Brannigan wants Larkin, as Swan over here is completely clueless about him. What's also weird is that Swan's other name, surprisingly, is Sir Charles, and I thought it would be someone else that he had to meet. So Sir Charles Swan is his name, and now the two walk in to get some lunch since Brannigan is hungry. Now Brannigan wants an all-American breakfast for himself, as Swan orders his own breakfast too. And Swan notices that Brannigan has a gun on him, as Brannigan mistakes it for the tie he was given at the front desk. And Swan looks super pissed here and tries so hard to intimidate Brannigan. It's violating the laws here for carrying a weapon on him, and Brannigan says no, he needs a gun and works under the American law.
Don't think I'll be needing it in here.
Excuse me, Sir Charles.
He instantly went from being friendly to being a steamed up little man, not making fun of his height or anything, but it is starting to look like that though, you know, small man syndrome or something like that. Pretty common word on the internet these days. But you know, it happens. Not everyone's gonna like you. Either gonna be jealous or they're gonna be just don't like you. And now Swan is being called at the front, and that someone is here to tell him something. And now requests for 2 Boilermakers, same drink meant for Jim Brannigan. And he looks shook and wants to know that Ben Larkin has been kidnapped, and just drinks the Boilermakers. The 2 drink the Boilermakers. Now Gorman is here in his own Batmobile, as he comes out of it and goes to get some private tuition in French. Only to see this pimp over here counting cash and has some money left over for Gorman. And the pimp does look a little bit like that actor John Cusack. Have you ever heard of him? star of the movie 2012. We've all seen that movie. And Gorman says he's here to pick up a package, and it's a cash envelope. There's a girl over here just ready to get fucked and wants from Gorman. Gorman says that the money's light and he's pissed off, and the piss off is them Luana over here. And is ready to have fun with her, and now she's struggling.
Nice and gentle, love. I'm not kinky. So
back at Scotland Yard, Brannigan and Swan are there discussing about the kidnapping of Ben Larkin, as they have collected things from the hotel. And the masseur that was cleaning Larkin is also in the hospital.
Sir, unconscious in hospital.
That might be just an act.
You see what I did there?
And the same guy who also came by to give Swan the update at the club is also there. He's a cop, by the way, and Jennifer is also there too in the back. And now Brannigan says that he will find his own way to find Larkin, and once again, Swan has a serious look again as he wants Brannigan to put away his gun and just walks out with Jennifer running after him after throwing back the tie at Sir Charles or Commander Swan or whatever you want to call this guy. Now the two are in the car as Jennifer now knows everyone in Brannigan's family are cops except his son, who's a lawyer. And now Jennifer gets a call about meeting a Richard much later, and Brannigan is still hungry and didn't eat at the guy's club, and we see Gorman again following Brannigan and Jennifer. And now it's nighttime as Jennifer drops Brannigan off at his hotel and she walks out. We see Gorman in the dark, and now turns off the lights in his room as he sees Gorman driving off in his own version of the Batmobile, but he doesn't know Gorman at all yet, Brannigan, and is casually having a drink. Next morning we see a boat and have this recorded tape playing with Larkin's lawyer, Mel, present also, and he also has deceived Larkin here by associating himself with the police, as Brannigan has his doubts about the voice recording. And now the police have money being delivered, ransom money being sent from America to get Larkin out. And Mel will be seeing them soon as he now leaves. Now back in town square, we see Marlon Brando's A Streetcar Named Desire playing. I've never seen it. And now we're at the town square, as well as Swan coming in with a cop with him. And as a cop is there too with Brannigan, and Jennifer also there watching from the other side of the road. I guess watching who will pick up the ransom money from this English-looking mailbox. And as the same two guys who did kidnap Larkin are here, also hiding inside this very tall building and also watching him from afar. We also see Mel driving off too. And these guys are watching too with a walkie-talkie, and it looks like they're part of the group that kidnapped Larkin, or they could be cops. And now Mel has stopped driving, and we see this blonde guy at the top here with a lead pipe in his hand, giving signals to let something go. As Swan is there with a walkie-talkie to alert the other guys to see the Rolls Royce that is nearby. I think the car is driven by Mel here. As Jennifer and Brannigan still have the same look of surveillance from the previous scene. I think it's the same scene is inserted here. And now Mel gets out of the car. Now, as he delivers the ransom money in these big envelopes into this English mailbox. And the kidnappers have seen it drop off. And now Mel now leaves, and Brannigan and Jennifer watching to... And now Mel leaves, and Brannigan and Jennifer watching watching to see if Mel gets hit or not from getting targeted. Protecting Mel from getting targeted, as the cast drop is now complete. And Mel drives as fast as he can, as they now see a parade walking past him, as Swan notices a mailman is here to pick up the mail. Swan sees that the mailman is picking up all of the envelopes. Even the cash envelopes have been collected, as Brannigan signals that the pickup has been completed and steps in to follow the mail truck. And now they continue to follow the mail truck as Swan is also looking around, and they stop right here. Continue the chase on foot as they now stop at the mail pickup center, and now this guy in the colored jacket here picks up the cash envelopes, and Brannigan spots him walking out and follows him. And now the two get back in the car to follow the guy, since he is now riding his bike to his next destination, and signals Swan that he's on the tail of the delivery guy on the bike. And it's too damn simple, as these two have noticed. The bike driver leads to this warehouse in the boat harbor area. Now gets off his bike and walks with a yellow bag in his hand and throws the bag full of cash envelopes. Yeah, the exact same way he says hold it in Stagecoach or whatever movie. Maybe it was a Big Trail. So he pushed the bike driver into the water to make him pick up the bag of cash. Honestly, the guy that did drop the money in the water does look like John Lennon, the Beatles lead singer or lead member. He even has the same voice tone level too. And Brannigan checks the inside of his envelopes to see that what they delivered wasn't money. What they delivered didn't come back as money. There were actually newspaper cuttings cut as money bills to see that their plan didn't work. It's very common that plans like these usually end up in other movies to pretend that using newspaper cuttings, pretending it to be money, are always simple and easy to fool the criminals of the movie.
They pulled a Murphy.
Hey! What about me?
A Murphy?
So it wasn't the police who came up with the newspaper clippings. Plan was the one who kidnapped Larkin to fool Brannigan. So back here at the same mailbox, Brannigan and the others are using a crane to get a hold of the mailbox as evidence, and they lift it up, and just like that Keanu Reeves movie Speed, or the other way around, and other people's mail are already stuck on the top and inside of the mailbox by the use of this magnet. How creative. Like Brannigan said, it's too simple. So back on the road, we see Gorman again waiting for Jim Brannigan, and Jim goes inside. They go see something as he takes the elevator, and this Mrs. Cooper wants him to come inside for coffee.
Would you like a coffee?
Oh, thank you, no. Some people are waiting for me.
Yeah, he's not that easy, woman, relax. Maybe he has to use a bathroom and goes inside and tries to turn the knob in his room and sees that the knob is wet. So it's trap, 2,000,000% Gorman's touch, and goes down again to ask Mrs. Cooper if he had any visitors today while he was gone. She says no. One came except a central heating repairman. So he kicks the door open and we see this. And Jennifer Thatcher comes running inside and now goes inside and sees the gun tied up with the string and sees that it was a trap. Even Mrs. Cooper and the other neighbors are also coming in to check. So he looks around, sees that his shirt is hanging there, as well as he continues to look in the bathroom. And now that all the neighbors are together, and Jennifer finally reaches there and sees the gun. And now Brannigan has also found. Brannigan's also found another one.
I mean...
Attached to the toilet flusher. And he says that Larkin has paid $25,000 to get Brannigan to kill him, which is the money paid. So Commander Swan is back and looks for Brannigan as he is in Mrs. Cooper's room now with the new change of clothes. She would offer him a room in her place, but Mrs. Cooper wouldn't take her hands off of him. And Swan is now here too and wants Jennifer to take Brannigan to get some food to distract him so that he can finally take over in the Larkin case. And he can tell Swan is already annoyed by Brannigan's presence.
Perhaps you'd care for a cup of coffee. Come on.
Of course he's going to say yes. Now looks for an apartment that Brannigan can rent for a week since it says for sale. Now we're at Terrazza, an Italian restaurant, having dinner together. And now takes out a list of guys he has without telling Swan that he's further working on his own. And he stole this diary from his office, and we do know that Swan doesn't like Brannigan at this point in the movie. Or maybe he never did. But one name that wasn't looked through yet is someone called Jimmy the Bet, and he needs to know, as Brannigan needs to know what Ben Larkin is really at. And I recalls a moment in time when Ben Larkin, of a cop that Brannigan used to know back in Chicago.
Truth is, I hated his guts. He didn't like me. He had a degree in criminology.
Yeah, I can honestly relate. Too many bums you try to be nice to, but it never works out. Bums will be bums. And now she kisses him and calls him solid. Yeah, but this time John Wayne already had cancer, which killed him in 1979. Hence the lack of activity. He couldn't really pursue in and gain some weight after that lung removal. And now he gets a call from the local inspector, the Swan. Wants them both back at the office. So we are in forensics now, as Brannigan and Jennifer walk in, seeing that Swan is there, looking at a fingerprint, which is of a cut-off finger. And now tells her to pick up the sketch of the guy who put up the traps in Brannigan's room, as stated by Mrs. Cooper. So Swan is concerned that Larkin kidnapping himself does not add up since it is a theory made by Brannigan, and sees that, and shows him the bowl with the cut off finger, as well as an additional amount of money being asked that Mel has to deliver, and shows Brannigan the full report. And now the sketch is here, and of course the sketch of Gorman, pretty obvious there, and will contact Interpol and the FBI for this man in sketch, as Brannigan is now concerned about this hitman that they've sketched, Gorman of course, and for Brannigan to get killed, Swan recommends to go back to Chicago.
Well, I want you on the next flight to Chicago.
You care, Commander. You really care.
Of course he does care. And says goodnight, but before that, Swan notices the notepad of all the suspects, which actually belongs to Swan, like I said before. And now officially, goodnight. Now Jim Brannigan walks outside to see Jennifer with their fiancé, Richard Nelson, the Richard that you mentioned earlier.
I'm glad you're not 50 years younger.
If I were, you'd have to worry.
I mean, despite whatever age John Wayne is, he should. Richard should worry. But she has to get back to work with Brannigan to go see this Jimmy the Bet character. And here he is at home, Jimmy the Bet, watching boxing back when boxers were boxers and were actually influential and overall entertaining. The 70s was the best time for anything, really, and I've said this before. That's where it all began. But Jimmy the Bet is played by Brian Glover and walks to the door and sees that it's Jennifer and barges in Brannigan and wants to ask some questions about Ben Larkin's kidnapping, and takes out the knife. Brannigan now has him trapped as Jimmy mentions the name Al Drexel and tells him that he can be found at the Lamb Tavern, and leaves it off here.
That Jackson's a bum. He won't make it through the aid.
I honestly don't know who that is. Probably a not so well-known boxer. The next morning we see Brannigan and Swan together near the Lamb Tavern, as Swan has to buy steaks first. And now Swan notices Al Drexel behind him, headed towards the Lamb Tavern too. He walks in himself first to get friendly with Al Drexel. Brannigan does that. And walks in, locates him, as Swan now slowly walks in to join Jim Brannigan.
Hey, now come on. That cuts it.
Brannigan pretends he is supporting Drexel over here to stop Swan from arresting him, and does the same towards Brannigan. You can tell Swan was happy to do that to Brannigan to show his macho side. And Brannigan started the whole fight amongst all these guys, and now walks in Swan's cop. And he tells Swan that they have located 26-year-old girl named Gwendolyn, and now this. And now Brannigan gets hit really hard, and now Brannigan grabs Drexel and is ready to go. And the kidnapper is there watching it in a shop across the street, as well as Swan wanting his officer to continue to fight for him. I mean, the poor guy got hit twice and now is already getting arrested for no reason, and now back to work. Later on in the day, and now that they have Gwendolyn in the office about copies of something, I don't know what copies are they referring to. I honestly don't know. At this point, the movie does get a little confusing here. Maybe just me, I don't know. Usually I pay attention really well. I don't know what's going on here. Back at Jim Brannigan's, we see a drunk Al Drexler who still thinks that Brannigan is on his side. He wants to show Brannigan these pieces of paper and doesn't want to anymore. And now he makes Drexler drink some coffee or tea and instantly passes out as Brannigan now reaches for his gun, being suspicious about something, with these footsteps closing in. And Hurt silenced the gunshot and now splashes some water on him to wake him up, and he's dead. You can tell it's John Wayne's stunt double running downstairs.
What car?
Right-hand drive.
Of course.
Well,
Yeah, welcome to London, England. And now a high-speed chase for the next few minutes.
not in here.
What are you talking about? It's his car. So the kidnapper crosses the bridge and Brannigan crashes into the dumpster, and now back at HQ. Brannigan is back to learn that the car he drove has been purchased under his name now. Funny. And now back to the interrogation room. This guy gets distracted and doesn't want to look at the pictures of suspects anymore. And Swan gets mad, and now Brannigan shares him a little scares him a little as Swan gets a call from Mel Fields about the second payment for the ransom money to get Ben Larkin out, as well as finally noticing who this guy sold the plans to. I don't know what plans. Like I said, the movie just gets confusing at this point. But Charlie Kane, who's a kidnapper behind all this, the same guy we've been seeing this entire movie. That's his name, by the way, Charlie Kane. And
That's him. That's Charlie.
Take him away.
All right, come on.
And that's our man. That's the fella that nailed Drexel.
And back at Brannigan's, other apartment where he's staying at for now, as Gorman is back outside, smoking, and waits for the right moment to kill Brannigan once and for all. Brannigan looks outside to see if anything's out there, and he forgets his gun as well, as Gorman now takes out a sniper rifle, and now sees Jennifer walking about, opening her car, so that he could get his notebook out, and Gorman's ready to go. Slowly races up and sees that the car is closing in and almost killing Jennifer. But Gorman runs away, and the next morning Swan is pissed off to the point where Jennifer almost got killed, and now wants Brannigan's gun and the other officer, presenting the file to the hitman, Joseph Gorman, resident of Louisiana. Now, Brannigan gets a call from his son, the lawyer, asking about some questions, and that's it for this scene. Next scene, we see Mel Fields back coming upstairs, and we see him walking in and tells him to delay the next payment, and we'll have Ben Larkin back in 5 hours. And also showing him one of the kidnappers, Charlie Kane, the same guy we've been seeing this entire movie. And now to see the cash payment as well. A radio frequency message made for Mel Fields, as is Charlie Kane himself calling him how to make the next cash payment drop. And now Mel finally listens to Swan and Brannigan's plan about delaying the next ransom payment for another 4 hours, as Larkin budges in. For a kidnapped guy, doesn't look very tortured.
Oh, and be sure to call room service if you need anything.
I will.
Mel makes sure to check under his Rolls Royce for bugs stored by Swan and Brannigan. Now that Mel is leaving, the cops are following him as Mel attaches the tracking bug already there while he wasn't there on this random van to distract them. And they notice the bug is on the van, the cops do. And now the cops notice the bug is on the van. And now Mel takes another car and drives far off outside the city. And makes it all the way here into this factory area or warehouse area, and we see Charlie Kane and the other kidnapper. Mel just walks up here casually, and of course Mel is here and pays the kidnappers, only to know he started the plan to kidnap Ben Larkin. Yeah, damn, never trust a lawyer. So he came up with this entire thing, only to see this. Huh? That's weird. So he kills the kidnappers, and these two plotted Larkin's own kidnapping just to make easy money, and used those two guys to pretend to kidnap Larkin, and Mel kills both the kidnappers that did contribute to this. Okay. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, stupid, but makes sense. And these two are happy that the plan worked as well. Now Mel throwing wads of cash at Larkin, and they see this spinning.
Knock, knock.
And it's a bug that was already placed inside the cash briefcase. And remember when Brannigan was touching the cash back at the office with Mel being there? The second briefcase with the second cash payment? Yeah, pretty obvious there. And Brannigan and Swan have made it on time as Mel Fields and Ben Larkin are officially arrested. And Brannigan is ready to take them back to Chicago, Illinois. And says goodbye to Commander Swan, or Sir Charles, whatever his name is. And we see Gorman again speeding up as Jennifer is willing to give Brannigan a lift to the airport. And Jennifer spots the car storming in, and Gorman is not ready to give up as Brannigan shoots back and finally hits Gorman. Gorman should stop at this point. He got his money back, or he got his money, and no stress from Larkin or his lawyer Mel. And there goes Gorman, finally. So we're in the final 2 minutes of the movie, and we're at the Tower Hotel, and Brannigan's ready to go back to Chicago. And now he says so long to Jennifer, and that's Brannigan, 1975. And that's it, Brannigan, 1975. Credits are 1 minute long, and this video is already long enough. Movie's okay, kind of goofy, it doesn't make sense sometimes. And with all these remakes since in the last 50 years, at least it's original, you know? Another movie that is like this is McHugh from 1974, which I think is much better than this and makes sense entirely. That's it for me. I'll see you guys next week. It's been a long week, and stay tuned in the short section for my next set of episodes. And take care. See you soon and watch away. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share the video for all you John Wayne fans. Take care and see you soon and watch away.